I've never read the book The Rating Game by Reba Tony, but something intrigued me since I heard her interviewed on Dennis Prager's radio show. The Rating Game. It says to rate yourself honestly, and if you find yourself getting dumped most of the time in relationships, then you're probably dating out of your league. And if you're the one doing the dumping most of the time, then you're probably dating beneath yourself. So Reba Tony urges people to rate themselves honestly on face, body, personality, and life position, and then to seek out partners in their ballpark. I think the women I tend to fall in love with are out of my league. They don't mind getting together with me at the hovel for Torah talk, but they don't want to be seen in public with me. It's like I'm this 50-pound overweight chick that, is great in bed, but you're embarrassed to be seen in public with. I don't know. I've always had good taste in friends. It's one thing I will say for myself. I can spot meanness from a mile away. So, like Dennis Prager, he's my imaginary friend. I probably spend more time listening to him every day than any other person in my life. I tend to date women who are above me in social status. They tend to make more money, they have more friends, they're more socially astute. And for some reason they like this tortured artist blogger. I remember there was this girlfriend, she didn't want to be seen with me in public, she was ashamed. She said it was the Orthodox get-up, the beard, the seat out, the fringes out, the yarmulke, that it was incongruent with who I really was, that I was a poser. That if she ever introduced me to her Orthodox family, they'd want to kill me, they'd hire a hitman. So these girls that I've loved, they've had more friends than I do, their lives were a social whirlwind, they're more connected to others. I feel disconnected much of the time, kind of holed up here in the hovel. Yep, the glamorous hovel, blogging my heart out, too exhausted to do anything else. Blog, blog, blog. And it was really exciting being part of their cool world, meeting cool people, kind of being lifted up out of the hovel, out of my depression, living on a higher plane. And I thought, I like it up here. I like the air up here. It's so clean and fresh. I want to live up here. Yay, I finally run with the cool crowd. I was gaining in status. I had an attractive, articulate girlfriend. I had worth. I had prestige. When I was close with Kathy Seif, I felt connected to a lot of cool people, but as she got sick and died, my connections kind of fell away. And since 2007, when she passed on, taken my life in a new direction, lost touch with most of my old writer friends. Now I spend my time pursuing yoga, pursuing Alexander Technique, and I've kind of dropped out of the writer gatherings that were the heart of my social life for so many years. These girlfriends I love, they weren't as socially destructive as I am. There's something rotten in my soul. It seems like in almost every social context I start thinking, what's the single most inappropriate thing I can say right now? If I'd stayed at Asia Torah, I'd have more friends today, or Young Israel Century City, or Beth Jacob, or B'nai David. Then I kind of moved in and through and on from there. I remember a friend of mine from yoga, an acquaintance, said to a friend of mine, there's just something off about Luke. It's like there's this brokenness in me that astute strangers can sniff off before I say a word. Worst of all, I know it. And I think about it when I'm socializing. It makes me seem all the more messed up. I saw myself on the big screen a few weeks ago in this new documentary called Exit. And I had this big fat ugly beard and I looked so disturbed that I wouldn't want to get close to that person. It's not the beard. I've always thought there was something wrong with me. When I was like 4 years old, people thought I looked like a Holocaust survivor. I had these big sunken eyes. Now I just have these big holes under my eyes. Throughout my life, I've often felt ugly and awkward. I remember I was at a posh cocktail party when I was 21. My sister across the room was talking about me to someone and pointing me out, and there I was standing holding bits of lemon rind in my hands. Now they give you lemon slices with your drinks at these posh cocktail parties. Well, I was so nervous that I kind of torn my lemon slices apart. I was holding them like a dead possum. I remember one Sabbath afternoon at Oratora in 1999, there was this girl that I'd been intimate with on and off for about a year, but we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. She didn't want a relationship with me. So she stood up after Kiddush and said, "I'm going." And I said, "Oh, I'll walk you out." And I started walking her out. And she stopped and said, "Don't. I don't want people to think we're together." She apologized for it a few days later, but I understood her instincts. This was before the beard. I was a good-looking chap back in 1999. So it wasn't just my reputation as a bad boy. No, it was the whole of me. She knew me. She really knew me. She knew my reputation and my reality. She knew my good points and my bad points. She knew all of me. We'd spent countless hours talking. She had heard me interviewed on the radio. She'd seen me interviewed on TV. She knew who I was. She just didn't feel strongly enough that Sabbath afternoon to want to be seen in public. She wasn't strong enough. She wasn't stupid, and she wasn't evil. Yes, there's a price to be paid for befriending a social outlaw such as myself, and she just didn't feel like paying that price that day. So without even saying a word, I give off the vibe that there's something not quite right with me. The more I think about it, the more not right I get. I'm not sure this can be solved by affirmations or even psychotherapy. I have to pile successful social interaction upon successful social interaction, accumulate social prestige, and through concrete accomplishment convince myself that I'm a good guy. And this consciousness of my brokenness can be paralyzing. I go into countless social situations, and I'm as limp as a noodle. Other times I'm manic and off the charts, and I forget my flaws, and occasionally I can mesmerize an entire room. But most of the time when I walk into a gathering, I can predict how things will go. If I'm feeling confident and smooth, I'll act accordingly. If I feel like a loser, I'll act accordingly. I guess I'm not that thrilled with who I am, no matter how much I try to talk myself up and say my meditations and affirmations and read self-help books. I don't think that I'm a particularly good person. I want the glory, but I'm not willing to work for it. I want attention without the merit. I want sex without commitment. Oy I'm mad, bad, and dangerous to know. I cheated through math and science classes in high school, though I eventually stopped cheating in community college. That same character flaw still haunts me. I want to take the easy way out. If I'm pushed to the wall, if I'm caught doing something bad, my tendency is to want to lie, cheat, and steal my way out of trouble. I can fool some of the people some of the time, but I can't fool myself. I know who I am. I know that my liabilities equal my gifts. I'm trying to nudge the needle more towards my gifts, but I can't pretend that I don't carry huge liabilities. I'm trying to do more things that I'm proud of, so this aching sense of my own badness diminishes. Judaism helps. When I do a lot of mitzvot, I do a lot of God's commandments, I do feel better about myself.